get it to come out, because the alternative is drilling and tapping a hardened steel screw in an aluminum hole. Not fun. Okay? So you've got to get these out. That's your mission if you take it, Mr. Phelps. All right. When you get this stuff out, turn it over, and you're going to see on the inside of the rail, you're going to see a groove. You're going to see a groove right here. And all the holes, I mean, it'll be a raised point. And all the screw holes go right in the middle of it. Got to be all cleaned out. All cleaned out. A lot of different ways to do it. I use a wire wheel on a on a grinder. Then when you look at the body, there is a groove. Oh, can't do a straight line. There's a groove with each one of those screw holes in the bottom of that groove. It's got to be all cleaned out. You need to tap out all the screw holes to be sure they're good and clean. And if somebody's messed up these holes, it's a real problem. And if you break the screw off, grind it out flush while it's hot, hit it with a punch, and it'll punch through. But you've got to get these threads cleaned where you can put new screws in. Because you can't don't put machine screws. Say, screw it, I'm going to put a machine screw, a sheet metal screw instead of a machine. Don't have to do all that. No, don't do it, because the water follows the threads of the steel screw, goes right in the coach. It's got to be machine screws. Okay? We use stainless steel Phillips screws to replace. I know. Aluminum and stainless, dissimilar materials, blah, blah, blah. Look, you put stainless in there, it won't bite until you and I won't care. Right? Nice stainless Phillips screws to replace them. Exact length, not too long. You might even need to have a couple of them short, because there could be some goo inside the rail or screw on the other side. Everything good? You good? Okay. So anyway, that's all got to get cleaned out. Okay, all got to get cleaned out. Then you've got to put a new, get all that goop and pucky out. You got to put some new sealant in there that has enough elastomer rate, in other words, enough stretch, to be able to stretch how far that's going to go. Okay? Now you can put some more butyl tape in there. Hey, it did last 40 years. I'll give it that.
Hey Jim, I got a question. What do we not put in there for a sealant?
Guys, you boaters, marine guys, captain, don't put 3M S5200 in there. Don't do that. There's sealants and there's adhesives. Okay? 5200 is an adhesive. It'll stick to dirt, right? It's hard as woodpecker lips. You'll never get it off. And if you don't seal the hole, but you stick the rail on, Capcom, we have a problem. You may need to resurface the seal. Remember we said this is a seal system. Who knows? You might live long enough to have to do this again. Oh boy, doesn't it make you want to hang around? But you want something in there. You want a sealant that has enough elastomer rate on it and enough adhesion to stick, but will come off. Okay? Better living through chemicals. They've got all kinds of glues and stuff. It's kind of like in the old days, you know, you went to Sunoco because you believe in the gas or something, or Quaker State had wax in it, and you had all these things, and everybody had their opinions. Well, now it's coming true about what kind of sealant to use. Oh, there's Captain Formber's Creeping Crud. There's this Sikaflex, and guys, there's a lot of it out there. Trust me. What you want is adhesion where it needs to stick. You need sealant qualities where it needs to seal. And you can have balances of them. The stuff that we use is made by a company of Würth, W-U-U-R-T-H. Good German company. And it's called Bond and Seal. Great stuff. Make sure you've got gloves on when you use it, because there's no known cleaner. Food. You gotta wear it off.
Yes.
It's awesome stuff, but man, don't end up like a magpie.
Yeah.
Okay? So we put a layer at the top, a layer in that seal of this sealant. Put the cap on, put the screws in because there's sealant in where the screws are, so the screws will carry that on in. And then that gets sealed. This corner, this edge, this cap comes over here, never gets sealed. May want to put some kind of a self-leveling something in here in case down to this sealant, some water gets in here and you just don't want it to be in there. So sometimes you can put a clear self-leveling sealant at the top of it, but that's kind of like belts and suspenders. It's really going to pop loose eventually. The sealant is really underneath this. It's underneath this on the back side of that so it moves, okay? Not on that edge and not on this edge. Make sense? I'm hoping that this will answer some of the questions that were on that Facebook thing. The other perimeter, we're talking perimeter, we had penetrations and perimeter. Well, this goes front to back on both sides. Then you have a cross seam, okay? This is plastic, SMC. This is the front cap, and this is aluminum, right? So you have a cross seam right here of dissimilar materials. Materials have different flex rates, they have different expansion rates and all this. And across here, this thing is riveted, or on the later ones, it's bonded, okay? Well, there are new chemicals today, new things you can use, okay? That's what you want to put in here. You need something that has a little elastomer rate, but it's going to be on the top. It's going to be visible. The UV is going to see it. It won't be like this. This stuff's going to be covered because it's got the rail. This is going to be open to the world. So you got to think cosmetics. You got to think about resealing it because it is going to come out. The sun is relentless. Just because it's sealed doesn't mean it's always going to be that way, and you always have to be vigilant on the perimeters and on the penetrations. So we use, if we're going to paint a coach, we put a urethane seam sealer in here and then wipe it out. Because if you leave it in here, now we have three materials, three different flex rates, three different expansion rates, and that will crack. So you take the urethane and you push it in the groove and then wipe it out. Because you want it in the crack. That's all you want. Having more doesn't make it better. Okay? Then when it's done, we bag this off. We put a clear self-leveling, it cures to a not soft and not hard, but it cures to a very flexible cover right there. And it's UV and stuff. Yeah, 3-4 years it'll start to chalk up and you dig it off and put more. But that's a good seal right there. So this is the perimeter. How are we doing on time? Are we into the second episode now?
We are in the second episode.
Might as well
20
go ahead and
minutes.
talk about the penetrations, huh?
Yeah.
What the heck? Penetrations. You got air conditioner. You got roof vents. You got stove vents. You got little plumbing vents. Oh, and the rail. The rail. Every one of those uprights has two holes. Two holes. Two holes. Two holes. And I'm sorry, there is no guarantee that you seal it today and it won't pop tomorrow. There just isn't. There just isn't. I can't tell you. You can have it professionally done. You can go around a corner, you can hit something, because remember, this is a flexible body. It twists. You can go around a corner wrong, and it can pop, and it can start leaking again in the same place. Because where it's leaking, the same place is the weakest joint. So what's it going to do again? It's going to leak in the same place, right? It happened once to somebody that didn't understand that, so I was going to explain that to you in a positive way before I didn't do it the positive way. So, you've got all these penetrations. Each one of those has to be sealed in a different way. We use the same stuff here, bond and seal, under the air conditioner, under the vents, because why? Because it's covered. Good stuff. If I cover it, then it seals, like around the refrigerator vents and all this stuff. The front clearance lights, big place. There's 3 holes underneath each clearance light. You use bond and seal into those. things that are visible, things that you'll see, okay? You want to use either the clear stuff, but most of it is going to be under cover of a lip. So you use the bonding seal, okay? The rear cap is not part of the roof. The rear cap we use, it's RTV silicone. Oh, I can hear people now, silicone, oh, get him, kill him. Yeah. There are two different kinds of silicone. There's acetoxic and there's neutral pure. Acetoxic is like that stuff you buy at Home Depot that when you put it on, you can rub it off. Acetoxic silicone has good seal qualities, but it doesn't stick, has no adhesion. Okay? RTV silicone, where have you heard the words, the letters RTV? Motor, sealing the water pump, right? That's a high heat RTV silicone. It has seal qualities, water pump's not going to leak, but it also has adhesion qualities. So it sticks to the gasket, right? Well, they have architectural RTV. Doesn't have a high heat range or anything, but it has adhesion and it has seal qualities, okay? Now, you say, well, put that on everything. Well, I know the bonded seal will fit, and if it's covered, I'm going to put bonded seal. On the crack on the rear hatch, around the windows, to seal that little edge around the windows, all those little places that are kind of cosmetic, I use RTV. We have it in clear, and we have it in black. It's a Sierra Lawrence product. Sierra Lawrence is a commercially available product. We have the stuff for $24 a tube, regular caulk tube. It's going to take you probably 4 tubes to do the rails. I would get 5 so you can finish up and do all the other stuff. It's great stuff. You got a hole in the roof of your house.